Well, it's been a rough week in the market, and with a lot of our favorite stocks coming down, there is one stock in particular that I'm absolutely going to be gobbling up the dip on. Now, guys, let me be abundantly clear. This stock is not crazy overvalued by any stretch of the imagination, but there was some negative news that came out this week that absolutely has sent the stock down, but there is so much coming for this stock that I absolutely will be buying the dip, regardless of what Wall Street says. So make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth out the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get today, guys. And we're going to run through exactly what Wall Street is saying about this stock, because I personally believe this stock is going to hit $1,000 per share. And remember, if you want to see my complete watch list with price targets for this stock and all the other stocks that I'm looking to buy right now, take advantage of the earnings flash sale that ends soon. It's the pinned comment down there. We'll talk more about it at the end. But let's jump in here and see exactly what Wall Street's saying. And more importantly, I'll let you know my view on this stock as well. And we'll talk about, what they're saying justified? Is it not justified? And more importantly, what is the future for this stock?
Now, what about the report that we're seeing that Meta's super intelligence team, are there updates there?
I mean, they're already planning to restructure. So now this is the fourth time in 6 months. So it's definitely going through some growing pains. But this is according to reports we got from The Information, which cited 3 people familiar with the matter. So their super intelligence lab is expected to now be divided into these 4 groups. One is the new lab known as the TBD lab, which is short for to be determined, but a team focused that's also on the products that are including their Meta AI assistant, and a team dedicated to infrastructure, as well as their fundamental AI research lab that's more focused on the longer term research. But the reorg does follow a pretty turbulent period for a lot of their AI initiatives. I mean, Meta has made significant changes and overhauls to their AI work after some setbacks earlier this year. Particularly of note, I feel like the street has been very much focused on their large language models, but like specific.
All right, we'll go ahead and talk about the restructure right there, right up front. Then we can talk about the LLMs here in just a second, actually see what they have to say, and then we'll talk about it. In regards to the restructure and everything else of that nature, this is part of creating something new. I always love the fact sources familiar with the matter that who the heck knows if this is true, not true, if this is standard reorganization as you continue to create a new division, chasing imaginary things for now, right? We're not sure. When you're looking out at AI, we're basically, these tech companies are all creating it from not essentially scratch, but everybody's trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do. That's kind of the first piece. The second piece is they have brought in a ton of talent this year. And my guess is with some of the talent and what they paid that talent, more importantly, those are going to be some high-level executives who are going to come in, view the landscape, and then go, hey, Mark, we need to make these changes here to make us more efficient, to move in this direction, whatever the case is. So I would not be surprised at all to see multiple restructures over multiple years with all the different companies now. Who announces, who doesn't announce, who has insiders, tipping off all these Wall Street folks and such. Who knows? I'm not going to run down any of those sort of rabbit holes. But does this sound unusual? No. Matter of fact, it would be kind of weird to me if it was kind of plug and play with the existing AI, considering AI is so new and so opaque for now. Now, if we're talking about completely reorganizing the Facebook team, okay, that's completely different there. That right there would be a shakeup that would not necessarily concern me, but I would definitely be like, I wonder what that's all about. That's different. If it happened 4 times in 1 year, that would definitely be concerning, because you have this, cash flow machine that is Facebook out there printing profits. Why in the world do we need to reorg and then reorg again and reorg again? Doesn't make a lot of sense in that scenario. But in the context of AI and chasing AI and, trying to create products that, have never existed before, it makes perfect sense to me that, hey, especially as you bring in this top tier talent, they're going to want to change some things. They're going to redo some things. They might very well see, hey, let's restructure. And it shows you to me the aggressiveness. It's not, hey, let's give it 2 years and see exactly what happens. It's, hey, maybe it didn't work in this way. Let's do it this way. Hey, new guy comes in. He wants to restructure it a different way. Great points. Moving it on. That all makes more sense to me than somebody already having to stand up, just standing pat with what they have and not moving forward. I can imagine that most of these companies are reshuffling, reorging, and restructuring all of their different AI efforts across the board as it continues to evolve. That is part of an evolving new technology that nobody's ever used before. You've got to change in order to maximize what you have. And again, with the talent influx that just now is hitting Meta, it makes even more sense. But let's see what else they have to say here.
Llama actually, which is expected now to fall under this TBD lab and have multiple leaders. One for being a former executive at Google, Jack Ray, who is likely to lead a lot of these pre-training efforts where models are expected to predict trillions of words expected to be collected over, their various internet and other assets. But the restructuring plans have not yet been formally announced, according to this information report. So this is still relatively just hearsay, but I do think that we've already seen dozens of researchers hired from companies like Alphabet, OpenAI, Anthropic. So their definite hiring initiatives have been strong. And Mark Zuckerberg did say on their earnings call previously, he personally was really taking on an initiative to build the top talent. But right now, it does feel like it's a bit of a race to get that top talent and shell out top dollar as a result. So thankfully, with CapEx guided for over $100 billion this year, Meta has the cash that they're already expected to be putting forth towards these major restructuring and redevelopment plans within their company.
Yep, and you heard it right there. Maybe it's just hearsay. This is why you've got to dig a little bit deeper. When you pull that headline out, it'll read completely different, and then somewhere buried in the article down towards the bottom, they'll say it was actually just hearsay. We heard all this sort of stuff. But boy, they sure as heck will lay out a case with a bunch of facts and a lot of other things of that nature. That's why you have to ignore Wall Street, ignore the noise, go by what the company is saying on earnings calls and the corporate releases and things of that nature. And then, of course, apply just some general common sense to what's going on. And generally speaking, you come to the right conclusion 99 out of 100 times, especially much better than these people here on Wall Street who never seem to come to the right conclusion when it comes to stock investing.
Oh, yeah. We know that they've been poaching talent, stealing talent, wooing talent. The AI arms race is on. I think it's really interesting that this is the fourth overhaul in 6 months. The stock has had an incredible run this year, too. How are people feeling about some of these Mag 7 names? It went up to a new high of 796 just recently, right?
Right. We are just right around these all-time highs. We've only pulled back, pre-market this morning, about 1.4% from those all-time highs hit just last week. So, Meta has been a phenomenal one to watch. Earnings calls have been so lucrative for shareholders here because we've seen just nothing but hugely positive commentary from Zuckerberg. And I think that that's really the framework right now, what's working for AI.
And hilariously, notice the way she's still talking about what Zuckerberg said, ignoring the fact that, no, their numbers have been incredible. That's what's been amazing. The amount of money they're able to print to the bottom line, their margins, everything about their growth, everything about Meta has been incredible on earnings. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have to say a thing on earnings for it not to have pushed the stock as well as it has. Oh, and add in the fact that, hey, it was actually undervalued for a good chunk of the year, and obviously a good chunk of the year last year. Remember, we were able to buy shares in the 400s just last year on this company. Why? Nobody knows. Just reasons. Stupidity by Wall Street. Doesn't freaking matter. So this is more of, you see kind of the game that's being played here and how out of touch they are with what's actually going on and how what's actually important they don't really pay a whole heck of a lot of attention to. But hey, you know what? They're traders, they're content creators, there are a lot of other things of that nature long before they're actual investors. But that's to our advantage as a retail investor who doesn't have to answer to shareholders, doesn't have to, get in and out and play all these other games of that nature. We don't have to do any of that sort of stuff. That's why long run, dead people beat all these hedge funds, Wall Streeters, and everybody else.
More and more you can talk about the money you're spending. It feels like, throwing a lot of cash at this problem is working, but now the next question will be how they're willing to, or how they're going to really monetize these efforts. Because when you have a hiring spree to this extent, and like CapEx swelling for all these Mag 7 names, they are still one of the highest rated among the Mag 7, and they definitely are in the upper pack. But the names that do still command the best conviction among the street analysts are right now Amazon and Nvidia. But Meta closing in here with it again, an all-time high to speak to that. And next leg will be monetization efforts. You've got to be willing to show that all this money is going forth towards something that's actually making you money.
Yep. That right there is probably the first time in a long time I've agreed with a point 100% with the Wall Street folks in regards to AI. I have, ever since the hype started in 2022, I've always said, who is going to make money? Who is going to figure out how to monetize it? LLMs to me are all going to be commoditized. Who freaking cares? It's like search is right now. It's how do you make money on it? Because you're not going to be able to just charge subscriptions and things of that nature into the future. I don't believe. Now, I could be wrong. Of course I could. But, look at Palantir. They figured out how to monetize AI. Obviously, NVIDIA has figured out how to monetize their part of AI with the hardware. There's lots and lots and lots of ways, and there's thousands of ways that it's going to happen in the future in regards to monetizing it. But right now, these companies are spending hundreds of billions of dollars, not just Meta, everybody is. And she's right. The key point is who not only figures it out, but figures out how to make money on it. We talk about it all the time here. You can cure cancer, but if you can't figure out how to make it profitable and print money to that bottom line, your stock will go nowhere. You might very well save the world, but your stock is not going to go anywhere after the initial hype run because you can't figure out how to monetize it in the end. That is what matters when you're talking about stock investing. It's not hype, not hope, not all this other stuff that gets people so excited and all these big numbers. Nope, it comes back down to monetization. It'd be the coolest thing in the world, and if your LLMs don't make a dime, it doesn't freaking matter. It is basically something that's out there that you've got to figure out how to monetize. So agree there completely. Great point.
Yeah, the stock needs to close at or above 796. I'm writing it down. 796.134 in order to hit 2 trillion, that $2 trillion mark. The other exciting part of Meta that I read about were those Ray-Ban Meta glasses, smart glasses, and that they sold more than 2 million pairs of that. And Essilor Luxottica, which Ted Weisberg has picked so many times, last I checked, was doing great on that news too, because that's in partnership with that. Jenny Horn, great to see you.
All right, well, the video ended right there. Let's kind of talk about the glasses a little bit, and of course, why I'm excited about Meta stock. And guess what? It has nothing to do with AI. That right there is the best part to me about Meta and why I continue to be excited about the company. So in regards to the glasses, I think they're going about it the right direction. I do believe that whatever the heck you want to call that, augmented future, augmented reality, I have no idea. There's probably 1,000 different terms for it. I think that is going to be the play into the future. And when you see those glasses, they're not obnoxious, right? It's not a freaking headset that you got to walk around and wear. They look like regular glasses for the most part. And obviously, as the tech moves forward, those glasses are going to be able to look more and more like regular glasses to where maybe you can't even tell that somebody has on those particular types of glasses anymore. So for me, that's another huge positive and moneymaker to that bottom line, especially if they can figure out how to integrate AI into it and everything else of that nature. See, that right there is what I'm talking about. That's why I'm so excited about the company, because that entire monetization piece with that is something that's still under the radar. It's not being talked about. But for me, it's not even the biggest opportunity for Meta at this stage. For me, the biggest opportunity right now is the monetization of WhatsApp. That right there is going to put billions to the bottom line for Meta very, very quickly, depending upon how fast he wants to ramp that up. I know here in the stateside, we don't understand how big WhatsApp is, but talk to any of your friends anywhere else in the world, and WhatsApp is the king of apps out there. Everybody uses it for everything, to include doctor's appointments, and your doctor communicates with you through that. I mean, it's crazy the amount of things that happen on WhatsApp around the rest of the world. And here in the US, we don't use it at all, hardly, right? Unless you're communicating with somebody else who uses it. It's not an app that really gets used a lot. So do I think it can be monetized to the same degree? Obviously, a lot of their other products? No, because obviously if it isn't really being used here in the US pays the highest advertising rates and things of that nature. But because when you have a multi-billion person user base using a particular product, even if it doesn't make you half as much as you would on the American side of the house, that's still a lot of money. That's still billions of dollars to the bottom line there that you already know how to do. You already know how to, put into play. You already know how to execute to. That right there is what has me the most excited about Meta overall. So I hope that this dip continues. I hope that we continue to see weakness over the next couple of weeks, because I would love to add even more shares on top of the bonus shares, that I have of Meta stock, because it is a great company and it is going to be a great opportunity. And regardless of whether he spends $100 billion right here, guess what? There's billions upon billions of cash flow coming in the future that they haven't even tapped into yet. That is going to be easy money for this stock. This is just kind of par for the course for Meta. They kind of tend to come in and out of favor. And every time it's out of favor, I'm going to continue to buy that stock. And if you want to see those buys in real time, see my updated watch list with price targets, you want to get your free courses, free coaching, be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8 figure Discord out there. Make sure you take advantage of the earnings flash sale that's going on right now. It's the pinned comment down there where you get all that. Guys, there's so much involved. I can't even discuss it all here. Check it out. It's the pinned comment. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.